Jeffrey Epstein did not inherit billions. He did not build a tech empire. He did not create a global corporation. Yet he owned private islands, flew on luxury jets, and hosted presidents, princes, and billionaires. So the question is simple. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? And how did a man with no visible success live like the richest people on earth? Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York. He grew up in a middle-class family, no generational wealth, no elite lineage, no political dynasty. His father worked for the New York City Parks Department. His mother was a school aide. This matters because nothing in Epstein's early life explains what came later. There were no signs he would one day move among the world's most powerful people. He attended public schools and later claimed to have attended college, but records are unclear and disputed. There is no confirmed university degree. Yet Epstein would later present himself as a mathematical genius, a financial prodigy, a man trusted by billionaires. None of this was proven. In the early 1970s, Epstein got a job teaching mathematics at an elite private school. Despite not having a college degree, that alone raised eyebrows. Parents later described him as charismatic, intelligent, but also unusual and secretive. His time at the school ended abruptly. No public explanation, no scandal officially recorded, no clear reason for dismissal. And then, almost overnight, Epstein vanished from education and reappeared in finance. This transition makes no logical sense. Epstein somehow secured a position at Bear Stearns, one of Wall Street's most prestigious firms. Again, no degree, no known trading record, no famous mentor. Yet he was suddenly working among top traders, hedge fund managers, financial elites. Colleagues later said, he didn't act like someone learning finance. He acted like someone observing power. He was eventually pushed out of Bear Stearns. And here is where the story becomes darker. Because after leaving Wall Street, Jeffrey Epstein declared himself an independent financial advisor, but no hedge fund filings, no verified returns, no known client list. Yet somehow, he was now renting luxury properties, flying first class globally, hosting wealthy individuals. In finance, money always leaves a trail. Epstein's money never did. This was not success. This was something else. In the last episode, we saw how Jeffrey Epstein appeared from nowhere. No degree, no proven talent, no visible wealth. And yet, he was about to enter one of the most closed and ruthless worlds on earth, Wall Street. Beat. Because on Wall Street, nothing matters more than one thing: trust. So how did a former school teacher earn it? In the mid-1970s, Epstein secured a job at Bear Stearns, one of the most powerful investment banks in America. This was not normal. Bear Stearns did not hire outsiders casually. It recruited from Ivy League universities, elite finance programs, established banking families. Epstein had none of that. No finance degree, no MBA, no public recommendation trail. And yet, he was hired. To this day, no one has clearly explained how Epstein got through the door. Inside Bear Stearns, Epstein did not stand out as a brilliant trader. Former colleagues later said, he wasn't known for deals. He wasn't known for profits. He wasn't known for innovation. What he was known for was watching people. Epstein studied who controlled money, who controlled access, who answered to whom. He learned that real power on Wall Street didn't belong to the smartest person, but to the most connected one. Epstein wasn't learning finance. He was learning influence. He paid attention to ego, ambition, secrets. This knowledge would later become far more valuable than any trade. Epstein's time at Bear Stearns ended quietly. No celebration, no promotion, no public success story. He was asked to leave. Official reasons were vague. Unofficial explanations hinted at rule violations, behavioral concerns. but no formal scandal ever surfaced. And that's important, because Epstein left without a stain, which allowed him to reinvent himself. After leaving Bear Stearns, Epstein did something astonishing. He announced that he was now an independent financial advisor to ultra-wealthy clients. No office, no public hedge fund, no registered investment vehicle. And yet, Epstein claimed his clients were billionaires, industrialists, global elites. In the world of finance, transparency builds trust. Epstein built trust through secrecy. By the end of this phase, Jeffrey Epstein was no longer just a man. He was a myth, a fixer, a gatekeeper, a man who knew things. He didn't prove his wealth, he let people assume it. And assumption in elite circles can be more powerful than proof. Money buys comfort, wealth buys status, but extreme luxury buys silence. Jeffrey Epstein understood this better than most billionaires because luxury was not how he enjoyed life. It was how he controlled people. By the 1990s, Epstein had successfully reinvented himself. He was no longer a mysterious advisor. He was now perceived as unimaginably rich, not because he showed bank statements, but because of how he lived. In elite society, people don't ask how you made money, if your lifestyle already answers the question. And Epstein's lifestyle screamed limitless wealth. Epstein owned a custom Boeing 727. This was not a business jet. This was a commercial aircraft converted for private use. Inside, luxury seating, bedrooms, full staff. No public flight records. The jet became infamous later, but at the time it served one purpose: isolation. People on board were cut off from the outside world, away from media, away from accountability. What happens in the air leaves no witnesses. This jet was not transportation, it was a tool. Epstein's most disturbing symbol of wealth was Little St. James, a private island in the US Virgin Islands, purchased quietly, developed obsessively. The island featured a massive mansion, guest houses, surveillance systems, private docks, armed security. Locals called it the Island of Secrets. No journalists, no uninvited guests, no oversight. An island is not just property, it is control over geography. Epstein also owned a $77 million mansion in Manhattan, the largest private residence in New York City. Inside, art worth tens of millions. Gold-accented interiors, cameras in hallways, restricted rooms. This was not hidden. This was displayed. The message was clear. If Epstein lived here, he must be untouchable. Guests included financiers, politicians, academics, celebrities. And with every visit, Epstein strengthened his image as someone above scrutiny. Here's the critical truth. Epstein was never confirmed as a billionaire. No hedge fund success was verified. No major company was tied to his name. And yet, he lived better than most billionaires. So if the money didn't come from business, where did it come from? The answer lies not in profit, but in power exchange. Money can open doors, but power decides who gets protected when those doors should close. Jeffrey Epstein did not rule through wealth alone. He ruled through proximity to the most powerful people on earth. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Epstein had achieved something rare. He was not famous, he was not public, he was not celebrated, yet he was everywhere, behind closed doors, at private dinners, on private flights, inside elite conversations. Epstein understood a brutal truth. The most powerful people don't want attention, they want discretion. And Epstein promised exactly that. Epstein never positioned himself as the star. He presented himself as a connector, a facilitator, a man who could make things happen. He introduced politicians to donors, scientists to funding, financiers to influence. He didn't ask for loyalty, he created dependency. People began to believe knowing Epstein meant access to opportunity, and opportunity is addictive. Epstein's properties were visited by heads of state, royal family members, billionaires, Nobel-level academics, media figures. Not all committed crimes, not all were aware of wrongdoing, but what matters is this. Epstein placed himself at the intersection of ambition and secrecy. His homes became neutral territory, safe spaces for elite networking, environments without records. When powerful people believe they are among equals, they speak freely. Epstein listened more than he spoke. He remembered who owed whom, who feared exposure, who wanted favors. Information became currency. In elite circles, secrets are more valuable than money. And Epstein collected them quietly. This created an unspoken rule. If Epstein goes down, others might go with him. That fear alone offered protection. People noticed inconsistencies, unclear wealth, strange behavior, persistent rumors. But they chose silence because questioning Epstein meant losing access, risking reputation, inviting scrutiny. Silence wasn't forced, it was incentivized. That is how the web held. For years, Jeffrey Epstein's world looked untouchable. Private jets, private islands, private power. But behind the gates, behind the luxury, there were voices no one wanted to hear. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, rumors were circulating quietly, not in headlines, not in courtrooms, but in local neighborhoods, police stations, whispered conversations. Young girls were being recruited under the promise of tutoring, massage work, easy money. Many came from economically vulnerable families, unstable homes, situations where authority felt distant. Epstein targeted vulnerability, not strength. This was not random behavior, it was a pattern. Epstein did not need force. He had wealth, authority, lawyers, reputation. The imbalance was overwhelming. When a teenager faces a man with jets, mansions, and connections, silence feels safer than resistance. Victims later described fear of not being believed, fear of retaliation, fear of powerful people, and those fears were not imagined. In Palm Beach, Florida, local police began to take complaints seriously. Officers noticed similar stories, similar locations, similar methods. An investigation began. Detectives collected testimonies, phone records, witness statements. For the first time, Epstein's luxury did not protect him from attention. But something strange happened. As evidence grew stronger, the case began to slow down. Local investigators later reported resistance, not from lack of evidence, but from outside influence. Suddenly, prosecutors hesitated, decisions were delayed, jurisdiction became complicated. The case wasn't dismissed, it was redirected. Epstein's legal team entered aggressively. Powerful lawyers, endless motions. The message was clear. This would not be a normal prosecution. In 2006-2008, Epstein was charged. Many believed, finally, justice. But what followed stunned the public. A secret plea agreement was negotiated. Victims were not properly informed. Charges were drastically reduced. What looked like accountability became one of the most controversial legal deals in American history. In America, justice is supposed to be blind, but in 2008, the justice system looked directly at Jeffrey Epstein and blinked. What followed was not just a legal decision, it was a moment that permanently damaged public trust. By 2007, prosecutors had multiple victim testimonies, corroborating witnesses, physical evidence, a clear pattern of abuse. This was not a weak case. Legal experts later said, under normal circumstances, this would have led to decades in prison. But Epstein was not facing normal circumstances. He had elite defense lawyers, financial leverage, political proximity. And something else: time. Behind closed doors, Epstein's legal team negotiated directly with federal prosecutors. What made this extraordinary was not just the outcome, but the secrecy, key details. Victims were not properly informed. Negotiations happened outside public view. Agreements were shielded from scrutiny. The result was a non-prosecution agreement, a legal shield almost never granted and never on this scale. The final outcome stunned observers. Epstein pleaded guilty to reduced state charges, months in a county jail, allowed to leave jail 6 days a week, immunity extended to unnamed potential co-conspirators. This was not incarceration, it was accommodation. For ordinary defendants, such privileges simply do not exist. Legal analysts later described the deal as unprecedented, deeply troubling, a failure of prosecutorial ethics. Perhaps the most devastating moment came later. Victims discovered the deal had already been finalized. Their objections were irrelevant. Their voices had been bypassed. They were not just ignored, they were legally erased from the process. For many, this was worse than the abuse itself. It confirmed their fear. Power mattered more than harm. The Epstein plea deal became a symbol not just of corruption, privilege, inequality, but of a deeper truth. When power concentrates, accountability weakens. This deal allowed Epstein to return to luxury, continue socializing, maintain influence, and most dangerously, it sent a signal that he was protected. For more than a decade, Jeffrey Epstein walked freely. He returned to his mansions, he boarded private jets, he re-entered elite society. But in 2019, the silence finally broke. After Epstein's 2008 plea deal, many believed the case was over. But investigative journalists did not let it rest. New reporting revealed details of the secret deal, the extent of Epstein's network, the failure of federal prosecutors. Survivors continued speaking, despite pressure, despite fear. Time didn't weaken the truth, it strengthened it. Public outrage slowly rebuilt, and this time, it was louder. In July 2019, federal agents arrested Jeffrey Epstein at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. He was charged with sex trafficking of minors, federal conspiracy offenses. These were not state charges. These were serious federal crimes. For the first time, Epstein could not negotiate his way out. The arrest made global headlines within hours. Newsrooms erupted. Social media exploded. Powerful institutions went silent. Epstein was denied bail. Prosecutors described him as a flight risk, a danger to the community. His wealth no longer impressed the court. His lawyers argued privilege. Judges rejected it. The man who once lived above the law was now subject to it. Epstein's properties were searched. Evidence was seized. Names began circulating quietly. The arrest triggered fear far beyond Epstein himself because the case raised questions. Who enabled him? Who protected him? Who benefited from his silence? Institutions began distancing themselves. Former associates issued statements. Invitations disappeared. The web Epstein built was beginning to shake, but many suspected the biggest revelations were still ahead. Inside detention, Epstein's situation changed dramatically. No private chefs, no personal staff, no luxury, just concrete walls, constant surveillance, mounting legal pressure. For the first time, Epstein faced the possibility of public exposure without protection. Observers later said he looked smaller, less confident, almost cornered. Jeffrey Epstein was finally in custody. The trial promised answers the world had waited decades for. But those answers would never come, because what happened next shocked the entire world.